Hi, welcome to our video and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Today's discussion is about the union, intersection, and complement of sets. But before that, let's talk about Venn diagram. And what is a Venn diagram? It was introduced by John Venn in the year 1880. It is also called as primary diagram, logic diagram, and set diagram. Venn diagrams are overlapping circles or other shapes to illustrate the relationship between two or more sets. Now, let's have an example of an application of our Venn diagram. Now, let's have our circle, and this circle is a set whose elements are characteristics of a whale. That's another circle that is representing characteristics of a clownfish. This is now an example of our Venn diagram and how it is used. As you can see, there are two overlapping circles, then therefore there are two sets that are being represented. First circle would be a set about the whales, and the second circle would be a set about the clownfish. Now, let's have their elements. Now, let's look into the elements of our sets. And on these examples, our elements would be characteristics of the whale and the clownfish. So let's focus on the blue circle. So everything within the blue circle are all elements of our set whale. We have live in the ocean, breathe underwater, and give birth. And everything on our orange circle are under our set clownfish. So we have lived in the ocean, breathe underwater, and lay eggs. For example, if we are asked what are the elements of set whale, we could say breathe above water, give birth, and live in the ocean. And if we would be asked what are the elements of set clownfish, we could say live in the ocean, breathe underwater, and lay eggs. And now, let's continue with our discussion. And first, let's talk about intersection of sets. So this is the symbol for intersection of sets. Okay, intersection of sets, it is the common elements between sets. And now, let's use our previous example. Okay, so as you can see, between the two circles, overlapping circles, where did the two circles met? Where did they overlap? Okay, so that would be the common elements between sets if we are using our Venn diagram. And in this case, the common elements between set whale and set clownfish would be part where the circles overlap with each other, and that would be on the center. So we have live in the ocean as our common element. As for this example, it is true that whale and clownfish live in the ocean. Okay, let's now continue with our example. Aside from the Venn diagram, we have different ways for us to write our sets. And one of it is through rooster method or the rooster notation, wherein we would just list our elements of the set. For example, we have, so for the set of whales, the elements are enclosed with a brace. So we have breathe underwater, give birth, and live in the ocean. So for the set of clownfish, we have live in the ocean, lay eggs, and breathe underwater. So now, let's have the set of whale and then the intersection symbol. And we have clownfish. This is read as the intersection of whale and clownfish. So what would we do? We would look into the different elements and what are the common between these elements. And in this case, we could see that the common element is live in the ocean. So therefore, we could say that the intersection of the whale and clownfish would be live in the ocean. Now, let's have another example. We have our given, and then let's use rooster notation. So we have set A, the elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have set B, and then the elements are 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we have another set, which is set C, having the elements of 4, 6, 7, 8, and 11. Now, let's have number 1, B intersection C. So now, let's look into the elements of set B and set C. And what are the elements that are present in both sets? So, let's look into them. And then we would have 6, 7, 8 for set B and 6, 7, 8 for set C. So, both of them have the elements 6, 7, and 8. So, therefore, we could say that the intersection of set B and set C would be 6, 7, and 8. So now let's have another example. We have number 2, the intersection of set A and C. So we have set A having the elements of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and set C having the elements of 4, 6, 7, 8, and 11. So what is or are the common elements between these sets? So we have 4 and 4. So therefore, we could say that the intersection of set A and set C is equal to 4. So for the last example, number 3, we have the intersection of set A and set B. So what are the common elements between set A and set B? And for this example, as we could see, there are no common elements between set A and set B. And if there are no common elements, then we could say that the intersection of set A and set B would be a null set. Okay, so these are the symbols for a null set. Okay, so number 3, null set. So now, let's proceed to union of sets. So here's the symbol for union of sets. And union of sets is the set of all elements. Or we could say that it is a set containing all elements that are in our given set. Okay? So let's use our previous example and let us emphasize all elements. So therefore, if we are asked what is the union of our whale and clownfish, then that would be all of the elements. So the union of our set whale and set clownfish would be all of the elements. So we have breathe above water, give birth, live in the ocean, breathe underwater, and lay eggs. And that would be the union of our sets. So now let's have another example using the rooster method. So we have set whale, and the elements are breathe above water, give birth, live in the ocean. And we have the set clownfish having the elements of live in the ocean, lay eggs, and breathe underwater. So what is the union of our set whale and clownfish? So we would just simply took everything into consideration. We would simply list all of the elements as the union of these two sets. So the union between the whale and the clownfish would be all of their elements. Okay? So you could notice they have a common element which is live in the ocean, and upon having its union, we would just simply write it once. Therefore, the union of whale and clownfish would be breathe above water, give birth, live in the ocean, breathe underwater, and lay eggs. Let's have another example. Okay, so we would just simply use the same given that we had earlier on the intersection of sets. So we have set A, B, and C having the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 4, 6, 7, 8, and 11. So now let's have number 1, the union of set B and set C. So let's take all of the elements into consideration. But please be reminded, if there is a repetition of an element, just write them once. So the union of set B and set C would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, and 11. So 6, 7, 8 was only written once. Okay? So let's have another example for number 2. And number 2 would be the union of set A and set C. So let us just list down all of the elements of set A and set C as their union. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 11. So for number 3, we have the union of set A and B. So let us just list down all of the elements for set A and set B. So therefore, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and that would be for our union of sets. Now let's continue to complement of sets. So complement of sets have two symbols. It could be written as, as these two symbols. So let's have the definition. So when we say complement of sets, all elements from the universal set that is not in our set. So just in case, if the universal set is not stated, please be reminded that the union of all of the given sets would be our universal set. Okay, now let's continue. So let's have an example. And then we are asked about the Weyl complement. And when we say Weyl complement, we would just simply look into the elements of the Weyl. And those who are not elements of the Weyl is the complement of our set. So therefore, we could say Weyl complement would be that Weyl complement is equal to breathe underwater and lay eggs. And now let's have clownfish complement. And the clownfish complement would be so we could say that clownfish complement is equal to breathe above water and give birth. And I guess that would be all. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.